Yes, everyone, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur, and we are giving our Twitter reacts after what was probably the most confusing game that I have ever witnessed on this channel doing these watch-alongs, and we're going to try our best to lighten the mood, try our best to give you guys some good entertainment through this Twitter reacts. My mind is still absolutely just broken. I have no idea what I just watched, what I just witnessed, but Spurs are into the next round. We can already start smelling Wembley, can't we, says Robert from earlier. We can smell it. We're on the way to get the bus parade out, get it scheduled, everybody. I mean, it was never in doubt. But Dave, I mean, what a game. And, I am looking forward to Twitter Reacts. I think we have some good stuff here.
Do you know what? I can't wait for Twitter Reacts, Jack, because we're shameless as football fans. It doesn't matter that we've absolutely robbed them. I'm only after taking off my balaclava. I've had really good fun with it. But this is where Spurs fans are at the best, especially when it's sort of like a petty win or daylight robbery. Let's see what they have to serve us up, Jacko.
Yeah, let's see what they have to serve us up indeed. But everyone, if you can for us, do smash that like button. Do get into the comments below. Do let us know your thoughts on just the game in general and what you think of any of the stuff that we go through on this Twitter reacts here. Please do, and we'll get it started here in just a second. But we do have the first one from LucaTHFC. Oh God, here we go again. Tottenham is back. Tottenham is back today. It's just the two states of being. We're either absolutely nervous or we're going into a full confidence, Chris Hemsworth style. And I think I was, maybe more at the Jesse from from Breaking Bad after this game. Just absolutely shattered, absolutely broken. Alfie saying our lifesavers. I mean, indeed, Dave. Brennan Johnson, Jet Spence, both for different reasons. Brennan Johnson, just an ice cold finish. And that's been kind of going around all the Twitter sphere right now. It's just everybody's doing the ice cold Brennan emoji right now after that finish. And then with Jet Spence, just, rising above, the situation that he's had, at Spurs with Antonio Conte being left out of the Europa League squad and not even starting in this game, which was a real shock to me. I mean, what do you say about these two? I mean, they did save our day, and to a degree, they saved Ange Postecoglou tonight.
Oh, look, I've been a huge fan of, or a huge critic of Brennan Johnson, and I think rightly so with what he's produced on the football pitch. It's nowhere being good enough, near enough for us Tottenham fans either. But credit where credit's due. He stepped up in a moment of need today, like you said, Jack. Maybe a big boy moment. Stepped up when we needed it and put it away. And hopefully this could be the catalyst for him to kick on at Tottenham Hotspur. In terms of Jed Spence, this guy's really been through it, and like I've said before, I do not blame the guy. He's had Antonio Conte written him off. He's had a lot of adversity and he's come through it. Even Postecoglou, to a degree, should have started him. He didn't. Well, hopefully now Spence has earned some respect from the fans, from Postecoglou, and is now a serious contender for that squad.
And Abby Grace Summers, she's absolutely right here. Convinced Tottenham Hotspur is a social experiment to see how much you can take before you exploded. I think people watch me explode on the watch along. I think I absolutely expired multiple times, and I'm still trying to piece myself together afterwards. It might take me a whole week to gather some sense of sanity again, but I think Abby is absolutely right there, and that probably will go in the thumbnail if I can fit it in. Tyrese, earlier today, before the game happened, Brennan Johnson will score for Spurs today and begin a 10-game scoring streak. Well, everybody pray and everybody get ready for it. Carly saying, on another note, is it in Spurs' contract with Nike for our third kit to be camouflage in some way? Last season was flesh. This season is the field. I mean, Dave, it does feel that way. That the third kit with Nike has never really been that great.
It's like that Google tab incognito mode, Jack. It's like, but to be honest with you, it's probably because of the football's been that turgid the last while. It's probably good that we can't see some of these guys running around.
Sometimes they look good, like in sort of a fashion type of sense. Like I think that third kit from last year is like good fashionably, but when you're actually watching, players on a football pitch with it, it is very confusing,
Yeah.
and they do kind of blend in too much, and it just doesn't even look like a real football kit. But it kind of looks like a very fashionable one at that. It's an odd distinction to
The
make,
green
but
one's horrible.
maybe you might know what I mean by that. Welsh Spurs saying, "Call the cops! There's been a robbery in Coventry."
That's a great movie, by the way, as well. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it's
Oh,
Hot
I love it.
Fuzz. I think it's Hot Fuzz
Yes,
is
Hot
the name.
Fuzz.
Yeah, it's it's definitely been a robbery of definitely a huge proportion. Solvent Spurs saying we go again. He must have tweeted that during the middle of the game. Ryan Mason, get ready for Mason ball. THFC saying Kulu assist, Spence goal, Johnson goal. We finally won a game into the fourth round, and we get the cigars out, get the champagne out. Smelling Wembley already. THFC. Ben, I think, is saying me at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and let me bring this up for you. This is from that show Succession. I love you, but you are not serious people. Talking to Tottenham Hotspur,
Sums
absolutely
up the
right.
feelings.
And Deadly Dave, I thought you'd appreciate that. Wheelsy's putting out the apology forms for Brennan Johnson. There you go. Get them out. Get the apology forms out. And it didn't age well with Lascelles, so I hope it ages well with Brennan Johnson.
Well, look, I hope so. You know, they went early with Brendan Lascelles, and I refrained from doing it because I said consistency is key. I'm still going to refrain. If he goes on the 10-game scoring streak like the other guy said, then bring it back. I might sign it.
And to be clear also as well, like Dave and I, we give our thoughts on the player, during the game, but we're not like some of those other animals that actually do go after, his personal accounts and things like that. Like Dave and I, when the game is over, we go like Dave is about to go eat tacos and have a nice ice cold Coke with a lemon. He's not going to be going on to players' Instagrams and, making them feel bad. I mean, we just give our thoughts on the players during the game and then we leave it at that. We don't really take it all that, deep or, we pretty much move on afterwards. So just want to make that distinction clear so there isn't anybody in the comments that's just being an idiot about it, where we do very much, respect, their boundaries and respect who they are as people. And in fact, in the case of Brennan Johnson, I've heard Dave say multiple times that he probably, if he even had a son, or a daughter, he said he would have them marry Brennan Johnson. He might loves them that much, as a person. But I just wanted to make that clear because we have admitted, and this is another thing, we are humble enough to admit that we've been critical of the guy on a lot of occasions. And this was a great day to be shut up by Brennan Johnson. It was.
But look, it comes back to what Ange Postecoglou said. Criticism on a football level is absolutely fine, and Ange isn't stupid to know that he doesn't deserve any. But anything beyond that, where it gets personal, where you're sitting there taking your time to go in and write out a message to, to how you can try and hurt him, it does absolutely no good in that regard. It's pointless and it's absolutely stupid. You would hate it if anyone done it to anyone close around you, your mother, your father, your family, your partner. It doesn't matter. So why go and do it to someone like Brennan Johnson? That's way over the top and taking too far. Should never ever happen.
Well said. And looking forward to filling out that apology form, Wheelsy, at some point. With Dave, as we know, there's a lot of, kind of yellow tape, red tape that goes along with it. Sometimes the fax machine doesn't work, but eventually it could be signed. It could be signed. Jonathan Norrie, it's just the picture. Very good. Very good. Our sly man, Brennan. Brendan Johnson getting back on Instagram tonight after traffic.
Mr. Johnson, what are you going to do to me? Mr. Johnson, what are you going to do to me?
That's out of EastEnders. That's brilliant.
Zeus saying tonight we destroyed teams or destroyed dreams.
Yeah. But you could see how gutted Coventry were after the game. They were absolutely gutted. The fans were gutted.
Had no idea what just happened.
And you know what? I'm delighted because when they scored, they went absolutely ballistic. And I was sitting there, I was like, how are Coventry having more fun than what we are in this sort of game? So I'm absolutely delighted to rub it off them. And do you know what? I bet the fans in the stadium were chanting at them, and I'd say it was great crack. And destroyed their dreams today.
Billy saying Forster pens. Luckily, we were saved. He probably tweeted this mid-game when he saw the equalizer. Lord, did they know they're not going to see the 2-1 winner? Cody Mack pretty much the same Fraser Forster for penalties, you say. Just when you thought it was going to be bad, then we almost thought we had to be pulled through penalties with Fraser Forster. That could have been even worse. Talking to HFC saying we got saved from watching Forster on the penalties. This is like I said, I knew it was going to be good.
That was Ange walking into the dressing room.
You knew that the Twitter reaction was going to be good with some of this stuff. And Billy saying as well, this is probably one of Billy's best ever, and that says a lot, but I do think this is one of his best ever. He says, if saving us all from a Fraser Forster shootout doesn't win the fans over for Johnson, then nothing ever will.
Do you know what? Billy's one of the best accounts after games. It's brilliant.
He's giving me my sense of humor back, Billy,
Yeah.
after this one. And as many of you have on this Twitter reacts, like I said, my brain just felt like it was melted after that game, but it is quickly restoring itself, hopefully quickly. Spurs Express, Spurs win a Carabao Cup match for the first time since 2021. Well, there you go. Let's smell the Wembley as we can. Mr. Black saying Brennan Johnson reactivating his Instagram.
Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? You all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? You all laughed at me.
Cody Mack, Tottenham Hotspur, I both love and despise you in the same breath. I feel exactly that way after tonight. Jake saying, dread it, run from it. Our destiny is inevitable. This is the picture. I actually have to zoom out. And maybe if Dave can read it, I think. Hopefully you guys can on screen as well. It is the cycle of going through a Spurs game. It's probably how you would describe our watch-alongs for the most part. Talking THFC, saying the coldest of finishes. It was a brilliant finish. And also when, like I said, when everyone else in the game could barely even get a first touch, they could barely even string a pass together, let alone, ask them to finish a chance like this. Credit to Brennan Johnson for probably showing one of the only bits of quality in the entire game. There were very few moments of quality from Spurs, but this was one of them. From the pass and behind to the finish, and really amazing one from Brennan there. Great finish. Ice cold Brennan. James Harris, we have watched this exact game every year for at least 7 seasons in a row. The only thing missing is Davinson Sanchez.
Honestly, it was no better than what we've seen with some of them players in years gone by. No. The ball was still bouncing around over the place, misplaced passes everywhere. It was no better.
It actually was easier when we had Sanchez and Dyer because at least we had our usual scapegoats. It was just a lot easier when they were in the team because then we know who to blame. They ran it back. Says Luca M, because they played against Coventry before, Dave. Remember in the final, right? To go to the Premier League. So there it is. They ran it back. They crushed Coventry hearts again. Ariel saying the Brennan Johnson apology tour is going to be marvelous. It certainly will be. It certainly will be. And Billy saying the masculine urge to say we're winning it all shortly after.
I was dying to start chanting we're on our way to Wembley. I was dying to.
SW Spurs ranking worst performance of the last 5 years so far. Coventry one is slightly ahead. I mean, Dave, if you were to compare it to Newcastle away in Zagreb, I'd say Newcastle away, actually, with context. Newcastle was worse, some of those.
Newcastle away was worse. Coventry and then Zagreb.
It's with Newcastle. I think it's more Newcastle. You want to turn off the stream because it's just watching all these goals go past your net. The players just completely giving up. You just feel like you're being embarrassed. Also, because Newcastle are a massive club, so they're all in the chat, giving it the big in and everything. But Coventry and Zagreb, they fall into that sort of category of where you originally you walk into the game expecting to roll them over to some degree, expecting it to be an easy win. And then you're seeing one of the worst performances you've ever seen, basically, of Spurs players. So I think it's almost 2 different categories. But now that I think about it, I'd probably rather relive this Coventry experience or a Zagreb experience than go through Newcastle away. Newcastle away, it's just a different breed.
Some would probably say that they'd rather relive this one again because we were on the right side of the scoreline.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I'm disappointed. I thought there would be a lot more about the Jed Spence redemption arc. Also, do you know that famous one where Ange Postecoglou comes running out with the music and is hey. Thought I'd see a lot more of them memes as well from all the Ange fans and stuff like that. Well, but nonetheless, it was entertaining.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could have waited a bit longer, but Dave has to, enjoy his tacos. It's already, it's crazy o'clock for you. You got to eat. You got to go to bed. I need to eat. I got to go to bed. So we tried.
I need a long walk in the morning.
We tried our best to put out what we could for you guys. But thank you so much for supporting this channel. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this Twitter reacts with what we did have for you. If you can for us, smash the like button on your way out. Get into the comments. Feel free to shame me for, my mind loss, during the watch along or during this time. And we'll see you for the next one. Yeah, it's going to start coming thick and fast. Our next one is Brentford. See how we fare then. Come on, you Spurs. See you next time, everybody.